Bros here. Hey, let's talk about this Eric Kendricks signing and a little bit of an update from Austin Ekeler, by the way. So let's get into it, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go. So we did get a signing. There was a pretty solid signing with the Eric Kendrick deal. First off, I'm going to talk about another signing here, and that was the Raiders signing Jimmy G. And I thought that it was kind of funny to even talk about this because this meme really, in my opinion, puts together that signing exactly the way I view it. So, yeah, they signed Jimmy G to get rid of Derek Carr, who essentially is the same exact type quarterback. You're about the same level. You're not gaining anything. You're just losing at that same point in time. I mean, I guess you're losing who you had as an organization. Now you're gaining a guy that's been in the system for McDaniel. So there's a positive to that point. But basically, it's the same thing here, guys. Same shirt, same everything. Just made me laugh when I saw that. So, by the way, family trust, respect around here all the time, guys. So, anyhow, let's get into the Chargers news here all around. So the Eric Kendrick deal actually has been signed and said and done now. So we currently have him in as a 2-year deal, $13.25 million. So initially when I thought of this, Eric Kendrick is a dog. He's a very, very good linebacker all around. I do think that there's a point of being 31. You kind of think later in a guy's career, he starts to slow down a little bit. He kind of has been on one of those guys that the Vikings have had on their team for some good amount of time. He's a solid player for sure. I do get concerned about speed change and in that kind of stuff. Being in the year for multiple years, being very high productive, doing a lot of tackles, a lot of beating of your body, a lot of abuse on your body and such, it starts to wear on you. And I know he's coming back as like a homecoming thing. I want to say the Chargers some years ago, I think Tom Telesco really wanted Eric Kendrick with the Chargers a couple years back and wanted to trade for him, which ended up not happening. But either way, we got our guy, Eric Kendrick. I'll probably say Bobby Wagner's not going to be in the story anymore. Is Drew Tranquil going to still be a part of the story? Well, I really don't know. It's kind of a hard thing to really say because I kind of feel that there's a chance that he could come back around as the market starts to get longer day by day of him not getting signed, the cheaper he can be. I think the Chargers are playing a lot of different cards right now, especially with, say, for instance, with Fehoko, with Parham, with even possibly Drew Tranquil. Hey, man, go out there and see what your value is. I mean, remember last year with the whole Kaiser White, which he is available once again as a free agent. He got a very low contract all around. So I'm not saying that Drew Tranquil is not going to be a possibility, but there is going to be over time, it's going to get his contract to become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper for us. So it would be awesome to see Drew back here. The big thing that I'm thinking with the Eric Kendricks is we're getting older, more experienced, and getting rid of like the older or the younger based up and coming kind of guys like Drew Tranquil. I don't want to see something happen like Uchenna Nwosu when he went over to the Seahawks. He performed extremely high. I believe went to the Pro Bowl, pretty much played at the same level of Khalil Mack, but we're paying him, Khalil Mack, significantly more money to play at the same level as Uchenna Nwosu. So either which way, Eric Kendrick is going to be one of our star linebackers right now. We got a lot of work to still work on that linebacker position. Kenneth Murray is the other one on the other side. I do get a little weird about this whole Eric Kendrick signing because one thing that I viewed on this was it's not like he's the best against the pass, by the way. Let me show you here a slide. And I mean, with Howard now being Jeff Howard being our linebacker coach, coming from a cornerback situation, you start looking at this and saying, okay, you want our linebackers to be better at pass defense, correct? Yes. Well, that's great. I think Drew Tranquil was pretty solid at that, in my opinion. But when you're starting to kind of look at this, his coverage grade is 78th ranked at the position as a linebacker, 46.4%. coverage grade percentage to be able to bat the ball down or do a good job of actually covering a pass towards his direction. And then his run defense is very high. So he's tied for 10th in the league. That's probably something that the Chargers are thinking. Obviously, our run defense has sucked for the last 2 years. How can we get better? We'll get better at the second level of our defense through the linebackers. That's where I could see his win for our team here. So I did see, and once again, I wasn't able to verify that, but I heard Eric Kendricks' tackles versus expected tackles basically was better than Drew Tranquil. So maybe that's kind of the big thing of where they think, hey, let's move on from Drew Tranquil. I like Drew Tranquil. I think he's a phenomenal talent all around. I would love to be able to see him there. He did have over almost 1,100 snaps last year with the Vikings. He definitely did pretty good all around. Only got 1 sack, 44 pass rush snaps. So it wasn't like a huge amount that he was used to be able to attack the quarterbacks. Personally, I think he excels in that, and I think he should be utilized for that, in my opinion. So it's going to be interesting. My opinion, I think there's going to be some sort of linebacker that we do draft. I've been pretty high on Trenton Simpson over at Clemson. I think he'd be a great system fit all around here, guys. So we'll see kind of where that ends up going. Trenton Simpson would bring a lot of athleticism to that linebacker position. He's very good against the pass. He gets after the line. He attacks the line very well. He gets after the quarterback. Extremely fast guy. I think he ended up getting a 4.4-ish type speed on his 50 officially. So we will see kind of where this pans out for that linebacker position. And once again, Drew Tranquil could come back. Hey, maybe even Kaiser White could come back. Who knows? But that's something I wanted to point out. I think it's a very good signing. I do get a little leery about age and how the abuse on his body has been. It's funny because in my mind, first thing I thought of was like, it's kind of like the Takeo Spikes kind of signing in a sense, where it's like, once again, that was later in Takeo Spikes' career. Very, very strong linebacker, but he was slowing down quite a bit. And I don't know if Eric Kendricks is that guy where he is slowing down. I don't really watch the Vikings too often. I did see other podcasts talking about him, and they are pretty hurt about Eric Kendricks leaving. I mean, the guy, if you do look at his highlights, he is phenomenal on the field, gets after the quarterback, does a very good job all around as a leader on the team, has a couple pick sixes too. So all around, a very, very good pickup for us. 2-year contract makes sense because then it would lead right into the big contract for Justin Herbert. So all around, congrats, Eric Kendricks. Welcome to the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's go win a Super Bowl, my man. Let's talk about a little bit more about first, we got a signing for quarterback. Obviously, Andrew did not talk about that, kind of slipped through the cracks. But Easton Stick, welcome back, my friend. I think it's a very good signing to be able to get Easton Stick back with his team. He's been with the system for a while. He was hasn't been a number 2 guy for us. Chase Daniels probably will not be back. I think it's a really good opportunity for Easton Stick to really, really start working well in the system, start growing as a number 2 in the system. I'm excited to be able to see him play a little bit more. I don't want him to see him play during the season, but I would like to be able to see a little bit more snaps from him and a lot more growth from him. So I think that's very, very exciting to be able to have Easton Stick back. So congrats, Easton. Glad to have you back, my friend. So update on Austin Ekeler. I just saw this kind of come through today. Talking about Austin Ekeler here. Let's see here. Which one are we at here? Sorry, there's a lot of little screens here. So here we go. I think we're at the right one here now. So Austin Ekeler, the news yesterday was Austin Ekeler said, hey, man, you're not meeting my numbers as a contract. Hey, I want to get a trade, and I want to see if I can find a trade. Reportedly, the Chargers have granted permission for Austin Ekeler to seek a trade amid contract extension talks. It was interesting when Austin Ekeler originally signed that contract. I was like, wow, that's kind of a low contract in my opinion. I feel like we got a bargain right from the get-go with that signing. And now we've had Austin Ekeler basically have 240 or 220 touchdown-based seasons, including the playoffs. He has outperformed his contract. He's been a phenomenal running back for us. And I I love having him on this team. I think he's a phenomenal talent all around. We know what he could do on field. He is a little bit more of a glorified receiver than a running back. I get it where that side is, but he's highly productive and gives a great outlet or safe blanket for Justin Herbert to be able to throw out to the flat and be a yards after catch guy for the Chargers. So Austin Ekeler is an absolute stud, over 100-something catches. I believe he broke the record for a running back in the amount of catches in one season. So great running back and one of the betters that we've had in our history of the Chargers. But he is getting older. He will be 28 by the time the season does start. He is an absolute beast in the workout room. He is a stud all around for that purposes. I mean, he knows how to treat his body, and he's a solid talent. He's only had a couple of years of being a starter, so it's not like he's got tons of, I feel he's got a lot more life left in him. It was interesting. Somebody kind of brought up a little bit about trade scenarios with Austin Ekeler. I mean, he's a beast once again, and somebody brought up something about the Bills going after them, and it meant multiple picks, even players involved in it. Ed Oliver was one that they talked about would be a good guy to add to our D-line. Then adding a couple picks. There was second rounds, there's first rounds, there's fourth rounds added to some of those trades. We could get a very, very good haul for this guy. And also on top of that, give us cap relief too. What's sad about it is Austin Ekeler is one of those guys that with all the restructuring cap situation that we're going to have for next year, 2024, not 2023, it's going to be tough because there's not going to be a lot of money given around at that time. So it's tough because there is going to be an odd man out. And unfortunately, it might be Austin Ekeler at that time. So all around, guys, what I'm saying here is that Austin Ekeler does have permission, or at least reportedly has position to go out there and try to find a trade for him. So we'll see where it ends up going. I love Austin Ekeler. I think he's a phenomenal guy right here. He's a good leader for this team all around. But is it Isaiah Spiller time? Is it time for him to really blossom? Is it time for Bijan Robinson? Who knows? But it's a very, very interesting development all around. So personally, I don't want him in the AFC. If he could go to the NFC somewhere or another, that would be awesome for us. Because I really would not like to be able to see him during the season or in the playoffs all around. So Austin Ekeler, I would love you to stay here, but we'll see what happens here, guys. So I get it. It sucks because he is kind of the odd man out at this point. So either which way, guys, giving you guys updates all around. We'll hopefully give you more updates as we go. What's your guys' thoughts on the Eric Kendrick deal and signing, and also Austin Ekeler with getting permission now to be able to go seek a trade? So let's keep it going, guys. We'll keep you updated on what we hear from you. Any other news, pickups, trades, anything like that, we'll keep you guys updated like always, guys. So like, share, comment, guys. Appreciate all the love, support. Let's go, Bolt Bros. Let's go.